With the win over Iran yesterday, Team USA clinching the top spot in Group B. Still a battle for third and fourth. Iran and Tunisia already have been knocked out of the competition for the round of 16. With Fran Fraschilla, I'm Mark Kestisher. And Fran, Group A is the group the U.S. is going to get in the start of the knockout round. They'll get the fourth place team, Australia and Angola. We'll find out who they face later today.
Well, exactly. There's a lot of intrigue today in all four groups, but Australia, a tough physical team, and Angola, over the last few years, the best team on the continent of Africa.
They will get the loser of that game. We'll keep you posted. Let's take a look at some of the bench players for Team USA who got some action yesterday.
Well, Rudy Gay has provided some energy. Of course, Kevin Love rebounding the ball at a really high rate, doing a lot of little things for Team USA. He's been a nice surprise both inside and out with his offense. And then Eric Gordon, of course, shows you that long-range deep three that he's always had in his arsenal. And then watch the power and strength. You talk about FIBA basketball, good example right there by the young man from Indiana University and the LA Clippers.
Of course, the bench struggled in the two-point win over Brazil. Got a lot of action yesterday against Iran. We suspect we'll get a lot of action today. And look at those numbers for Kevin Love in very limited minutes.
Well, absolutely. And these guys are going to be crucial as Team USA will start the 8th finals next Monday.
That's right. FIBA likes to call them the 8th finals, round of 16 for most in American sport. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for this afternoon's game. Same starting five for Team USA. As we look at Tunisia, the center, number 15, Salah Medjri. We saw a 7-footer with Iran yesterday, Hamad Haddadi, who's got some low post moves, an NBA backup. Medjri more of a shot blocking center.
Just a young player on this Tunisia team that's making its first appearance in the World Championships. What a thrill for all these young guys.
Yeah, Tunisia winning or coming in third place at the FIBA Africa tournament last summer, and they played a lot of close games in that tournament, came up with a bronze medal. They're ranked 43rd in the FIBA standings, and what an opportunity for them today to put their best foot forward against Kevin Durant and Derrick Rose and company for Team USA. The Americans winning their first 4 games, the biggest win, the 37-point victory over Iran. A chance to work out some of the kinks. I think listening to some of the players and the coaches yesterday, obviously the first half, did not please them as much, but things kind of open up, a little better offense in the second half. And again, one more game to work it out before the knockout round begins on Monday.
This is a team that will run their patterns fairly well. Athletically, they're overmatched. But if you can guard, as a good example right there, good crisp offense. Herzig, that's important, Mark. He struggled, as you know. He's their best player, or has been.
Amin Herzig, who has not hit a three-pointer in the tournament as Chauncey Billups misses. He's one of the best players, if not the best offensive player for Tunisia, and he has struggled mightily. Tunisia's best chance to win in Group B was the game against Iran, but they fell so far behind, they never really had a chance to get back in it.
Well, here's where Lee Corso would have called a timeout, our ESPN football analyst. He would have taken a timeout right here and gotten a picture of the scoreboard. 2-0, as he did that once when he was coaching Indiana. They were playing Ohio State. Tunisia leads right now.
Herzig finds himself open on the baseline, and take another picture. 4-0 for Adel Talatli in Tunisia.
You say this a lot, but these guys are extremely well coached. They do what they do in terms of executing their offense. It's important for Team USA to really pressure those guards and force turnovers.
Kevin Durant's first shot goes down for the United States. Having a great tournament, averaging almost 19 points, 6.5 rebounds a game. First game of the day at the Abdi Pekji Arena. 2 more games to come to finish out preliminary round action in Group B. A lot of intrigue around the FIBA World Championships on this final day. We'll get into that as we continue along. Moving the lane won't go down for Naim Difala. And it goes out of bounds. Tunisia will keep it.
Coach Talatli has been the national coach since 2001. In fact, former member of the Tunisian national team, made the team when he was 16 years old. See, that ball goes off Lamar Odom's feet.
This is Radouan Slimane, 30 years of age, launching from 3 and missing.
And he will launch. He has the green light.
Plays in the United Arab Emirates. U.S. just a Kevin Durant field goal, and Durant's drive that time won't go down, but the U.S. will get another possession. Derrick Rose off the catch and shoot. So a little cold start for Team USA in this early battle in Istanbul.
Once again, it's been, and this is their style now, a lot of one-on-one, one dribble, maybe a drive and kick for a shot. But they certainly are playing fast, and the difficulty is they don't move the ball side to side and make defenses work as much as they could.
Defala missing from long range. One of the things to watch for today as well is turnover rate for the U.S. That has been one of the issues throughout all of the first 4 games as Chauncey Billups drives for the basket. 17 more turnovers against Iran.
Well, against Iran, every 5 possessions, Team USA turned it over 1 time. Call that a turnover rate of 20%.
Andre Iguodala was talking about the difference between an aggressive turnover and a careless turnover, and you got the sense that it was more the careless variety that's really starting to eat away at the players and the coaching staff.
FIBA defenses, especially against Team USA, they pack in, they can load 5 people to the ball, and so if you do play one-on-one, you're usually playing 1-on-3. There's a good cut, set play. Derrick Rose is going to make a cut to the rim, and it's incumbent upon him. Whenever you cut to the basket, always keep your eye on the basketball. That time Durant delivered a terrific look. Rose just wasn't paying attention. That's the beauty mark of a game like this, as you mentioned. Get working on that half-court offense.
Here's the big fella, Salah Medjari, missing on the outside jumper, but again a long rebound. A look at Marwan Keshrid, their leading 3-point shooter in the tournament, number 8 in red. Razig with a drive, and he'll get to the line. Lamar Odom picking up his first personal.
This guy is a good player in terms of he can shoot the ball from outside. He likes to put it on the deck. He's got a good body. He's what we call a combo forward. 6'8", pretty versatile.
Amin Razig led the team in scoring, rebounding, and assisting last summer at the FIBA Afro Basket in Libya, where they won that bronze medal against Cameroon. And by all accounts, everyone says maybe their best 3-point shooter, but 0 for 10. It's really uncanny how he has struggled.
Coach Talatli has said that we cannot even stay close with teams unless Razig has a big day. It's interesting about Tunisia. They do not have a professional basketball league. It's what we call semi-professional, and so most of these players really are not at the same level, and very few foreign players in the league, although they do have some Americans.
A lot of people know American basketball players maybe don't make the NBA anymore, never made the NBA, play in Europe and in Asia. You were telling me yesterday there's Americans playing professionally, the Super League in Iran.
Exactly.
Playing there are jobs everywhere.
That is true.
Here's Billups for 3. He has struggled from outside in the tournament. He was 3 for 16 coming into action from 3-point range. And a foul against Tunisia. So
wow.
The other way.
Watch Slimane now. Slimane puts it on the deck, little push off. Slimane looks like my old high school chemistry teacher that used to play at lunchtime, you know? The guy that would hit you with the cheap shot.
Got the elbow pads, the knee pads.
Absolutely, yeah. Black socks.
All the way up. Radouan Slimane, 30-year-old veteran for Tunisia. Little contact as Durant comes down the lane, and Naim Defala picking up his first.
Watch Durant now. Watch him use the body now. That's good. Understanding FIBA play. Takes that ball right at the defender, makes sure he initiates the contact.
Kevin Durant will get some free throws. The reigning scoring champ for the NBA has been most of the tournaments, most of Team USA scoring. You see Kevin Love. It's been the Kevins who really have done the bulk of the scoring for Team USA.
I think if you had to give a tournament MVP right now, certainly Kevin Durant would be at the top of that list. You can throw Luis Scola in there as well, who's been just terrific for Argentina, averaging 28 points a game. Of course, He understands this FIBA basketball as well as anybody.
Brent, today's an interesting day for FIBA and this final preliminary day because the matchups are going to be set. And this is a very different year for FIBA. We know the entire 12 of the U.S. Olympic team did not play. So the U.S. playing with different talent. A lot of the big players from around the world, the Pau Gasols, the Manu Ginobilis, the Tony Parkers, are not participating with their national team. And this seems to be wide open. Some of the issues the Americans have had with their game.
Yes.
And Spain losing a couple. It's almost anyone's tournament among the big teams.
Well, there's now 7 or 8 teams that I think could make a case for winning it all. And coming into this tournament, we probably would have said 3 or 4. The logical teams being Greece, Argentina, USA, and Spain. But Serbia is a young team, has played very well. They've got a big game today with Argentina for the top of Group 1. Lithuania has been very feisty, as they usually are.
How about Durant blocking the 7'1" center Medri from behind?
We've seen Kevin Durant really pick up his defense in this tournament. The 7'5" wingspan, the quickness.
I don't think Salah Medri is used to getting blocked from behind in the Tunisian league.
No, but he's going to tell his grandkids about this.
Keshrin beating the shot clock and hitting a three-pointer.
He's very similar to the guy we saw yesterday, Kamrani, a point guard. Keshrin would be one of those guys, would be a very solid high major guard in college basketball. Can really shoot it, understands how to get his team into an offense.
Born in France, grew up in Tunisia. Tunisia with a 2-point lead. Pass underneath for Odom, skips across and out of bounds. And another error for Team USA as Coach K watches on.
Well, yesterday after the game, Jerry Colangelo was pretty blunt when he said we need a lot of work, especially in terms of their offensive execution. They're going to have 3 days off after this game, and it would be incumbent upon them to really utilize that practice time to sharpen up this half-court offense.
Going the other way, Durant throws one up, count the basket, and he'll go to the line.
I think that's Sliman's second.
Good call, number 2 on Radwan Sliman.
Now, once Team USA can establish dominance on the defensive backboards, they're going to get out of transition and get a lot of easy baskets today. But it does come back again to how can you execute in the half court when you play against higher level teams next week, because as we've chronicled, Mark, starting Monday, everything is one and done. One loss and you go home.
Fran, one point of emphasis as well is Iran and Tunisia. They don't really play a lot of pick and roll offense, and that seemed to be on a defensive side where they want to get some work defending that pick and roll like we saw against Brazil. Can they do that in these type of?
No, this is not the level of player that I think is going to hurt you in terms of the pick and roll, say like Brazil did with Huertas or Diamantidis. Spanulis right now is probably as good as anybody in this tournament for Spain. Excuse me, for Greece at the pick and roll. Absolutely, you're not going to see the same kind of, offensive pressure today.
Kevin Durant knocking down another basket for Team USA. He has got 9 of the Americans' 11 points.
Shows you how good he is because he's got the 9 and he's basically doing it off a one-on-one.
Double dribble and Keshrin turns it over.
I mentioned yesterday, I went back and watched a little bit of tape to make sure we were on the same page, and you watch him for the Thunder and they run a lot of down screens for him. He utilizes the baseline screens really well. He's more of a shooter off screens than he is a one-on-one player.
Derrick Rose the basket as Team USA's lead goes up to 5. So when it comes to defending that pick and roll, that's squarely going to be in the 3 days of practice.
Absolutely.
Going against the 2 units that they're going to play. Medri will try a 3. Well, we've seen the big centers for Iran and Tunisia not afraid to put it up from long distance. Rose lost the handle momentarily.
There's an example of Rose driving into 3 red jerseys. You don't have the space in FIBA that you do in the NBA with the way the rules are set up.
They're waiting for a tied call, never came. And a 3-pointer goes down for Marwan Keshrin. So Tunisia staying very much within hailing distance in the first quarter. The foul against Tunisia. Get Billups to the line. Naeem Difala will pick up his second, and that's team foul number 4 against Tunisia. You can see below our score, the score of the Angola-Australia game. You could watch that on ESPN3.com. The loser of that game will get Team USA in the round of 16. That'll be the first knockout round game for the Americans.
Exactly. You mentioned Angola, a very feisty team, have a couple guys that have played college basketball. Australia, Alex Maric, who played at Nebraska, a very solid player. Patty Mills, of course, had a great career at St. Mary's for Randy Bennett. I'll tell you, if you don't have ESPN3, and you and I have been living on it, next week it'll be unbelievable for you to, if you're a basketball junkie in the middle of September. I've had so much fun keeping up with the other cities, the other sites.
Group A in Kayseri, Turkey. Everyone's coming to Istanbul for the knockout round. They'll be playing about 5 miles from this arena at the Olympic Dome, which has yet to hold an Olympics. In fact, they had hoped to get the 08 Olympics back in 1999 when they were building it. But the Olympic Dome will be the site of the knockout round. Group A has been very difficult to figure out. Argentina's 4-0, but it hasn't been a lockdown 4-0. Looked like Germany, after almost taking out Argentina, would be in that 4 spot, but they somehow lost to Angola in overtime, blowing a 10-point lead late in that one. So Group A's been tough to figure out. Iguodala on the follow, puts it in. Team USA goes up 6.
See if Team USA stays in that 2-3 zone they showed on the last possession. They'll go back to man. See, even guarding this continuity offense is a good thing for Team USA. Look at all the movement of the red jerseys.
And a steal. Derrick Rose lobbing. Iguodala throws it down.
Very simple. What you liked about that is Rose kept the basketball until the defender committed and then made the simple lob pass to the rim.
Final half minute of the first quarter. Razig puts it in for Tunisia.
Guarding the dribble, we saw it yesterday even with Iran, has been one of those bugaboos in terms of that Team USA half-court defense.
Entire starting first unit playing the entire first quarter for Team USA. We'll see if we get the entire second unit for the second quarter. We'll see how Coach Krzyzewski plays it. No shot clock, final 8 seconds of the first. Like yesterday, the USA, very small lead in the first. Lob underneath, tipped away. Razig at the buzzer. No. 19-13. USA, a 6-point lead over Tunisia after 1 in Istanbul. Goods kickoff week on ESPN tonight. College football, Fran.
Gotta love it. Yep.
Getting underway.
Larry Fedora building that Southern Miss Golden Eagle program.
Of course, Lane Kiffin and USC coming off an off year. No bowl game for them this year under sanctions, but they said they'll try to just win them all best they can. That's coming up, as is the whole college football season. We see Steph Curry and all the backups in to start this second quarter for the U.S. A nice putback by Eric Gordon.
Another example out of the timeout. We saw Coach K do this yesterday. Set play, very well run. Got the open elbow jumper for Curry. And then Eric Gordon, Johnny on the spot. Knows how to use that body, hang time.
Salah Medri picking up the foul, his first. Kevin Durant starting the second quarter on the bench, 9 points. USA, which led 19-13 yesterday after 1 over Iran, leading 19-13 heading after 1 this afternoon, and a quick 3-point play has the lead up to 9.
Gets back to what we said yesterday. Team USA is basically playing against themselves right now.
Slimane with the jumper.
Westbrook got caught on that screen. Instead of chasing Slimane off the screen, he tried to take the shortcut route. Slimane read it perfectly. Veteran player.
Tyson Chandler picking up that rebound. He took advantage of some extra minutes yesterday against the Iranians. And a nice pass from Curry, tipped off the cylinder by Medri, legal in FIBA play. And Tunisia will bring it up.
Watch Tunisia, good patterns. Run their offense. Team USA now switching.
Nice switch of the hands by Razig and gets his own miss. Eric Gordon picking up Kesherid. Shot clock at 13 and a whistle against Gordon up high. He's trying to figure out exactly what he did. And he says, yeah, I grabbed him.
Now this is where you got to have what we talked about, defensive patience right there. Well, there's the pick and roll at the rim. And good play by the big fella, Mejri. Not quite as advanced as Haddadi or Ante Tomic, but a young player.
Salah Mejri, 24-year-old center, 10 blocks in this tournament so far in the middle for Tunisia. Russell Westbrook free throw line jumper goes in. I think the backups, Fran, pretty much acquitted themselves yesterday after a real tough game against Brazil, hopefully getting some confidence back.
Well, they only played 39 minutes. You know, 7 players only played 39 minutes, so maybe it was as much Coach K not having the confidence in those guys. But this guy can shoot it. Very solid little player.
Marwan Keshrid, a three-pointer. Tunisia only down 6. First half in Istanbul, the final preliminary game. And a foul against Tunisia. Coverage of the 2010 U.S. Open continues from Flushing Meadow, New York. Today, second round coverage. The U.S. Open on ESPN2, 1 Eastern time and prime time at the U.S. Open presented by IBM at 7 Eastern time. Big upset last night with Andy Roddick knocked out.
Yeah, I saw that. Say you got to drink a lot of water out there if you're playing at the Open this year. It has been hot.
On-court temperatures in the triple digits.
Right.
Very hot in New York City. Nice feed underneath for Steph Curry.
Well, Tunisia tried to go zone, but really we're in disarray.
Kesher, a dangerous pass, chipped away. They'll reset with 10 on the shot clock. Tunisia, the only winless team from Group B, had its best chance against Iran. Nearly erased a 24-point deficit in the fourth quarter, but came up short. Only down 8 with 7:10 to go in the first half. Rudy Gay will launch a 3. How about Curry getting a rebound amongst the trees? Tunisia and Iran already know that they are not advancing past today. These are their final games. It's Keshre. That's a three-pointer. He's got 12 of Tunisia's 21.
I told you he could play at the college level. Maybe a little higher.
29-year-old point guard playing in Morocco.
Well, that was there's another one of those possessions where there wasn't even one pass and a shot. So right now, what it is for USA, it's a glorified pickup game, really.
Fran, the win over Brazil did this for the U.S. It means they'll finish first instead of second. That's an extra day of practice, and considering all they're up against,
yes,
that was key.
Well, and keep in mind, too, Coach K mentioned this. It was 6 games in 10 days in 3 countries. So rest is good, but practice is better right now.
Served by Applebee's, part of the Dick's Sporting Goods kickoff week on ESPN starting tonight.
And Reese Davis and Craig James, Jesse Palmer down there in Columbia.
They will be ready to go.
And those Gamecock fans are always ready to go, 80,000 plus.
Off the timeout, 6 minutes to go in the first half. The U.S. lead only 7 against winless Tunisia. This is Keshrid, number 8. Throws one up for the rim. And the U.S. will come away with it. And a foul in the backcourt as Steph Curry was looking to make his way down court. That is Mohamed Hadidane picking up his first foul.
I don't know if that was designed to stop the break or not, but we've seen the use of that foul in that mid-court area.
Might we see more of that once the knockout round comes, knowing the U.S. strength? As Rudy Gay knocks down the...
It's just a function of how FIBA teams play. You know, they're gonna take a foul to stop a fast break and a short 2. It's just what they deem intelligent play.
Speaking of FIBA and intelligent play, this is the final day of the preliminaries, and if you want to look ahead, we know the U.S. will get the loser of the Angola-Austria game, which Angola leads by 5 right now in the second quarter. But in the quarterfinals, if you're counting on a U.S. victory, you're looking at a possibility of Greece, Russia, or Spain being still around, which is amazing at that point of the tournament.
And that's where the intrigue comes from, because I talked to a coach who's in that group with Spain, with Greece and Russia, and there's some talk that you know, the loser of that game actually avoids Team USA until much later on in the tournament instead of the quarterfinals. So it's going to be very interesting.
Shot clock violation against Tunisia. And here's a look at Tunisia, top of the African continent, northernmost country in Africa.
Exactly right. Formerly a French colony. They got their independence in 1956. Everybody there speaks Arab, and they also speak a little bit of French.
Timeout in Istanbul, second quarter, U.S. Abdi Apekci Arena, final game, final 3 games for this arena and Group C, as there's 2 more games to follow here. Kevin Love, we haven't seen him much this afternoon, and he's getting his first look.
Right now, if you coach Talatli, you got to be very pleased with your team. They run crisp offense, haven't turned it over all that much.
Nizar Niwak cut off by Eric Gordon. Shot clock at 7. And the putback, Makram Ben Ramdan, who's actually been their best player coming off, didn't even play the first game, and he's having a very good tournament for Tunisia.
You saw dribble penetration once again rearing its ugly head. Tunisia now goes to a little bit of a matchup zone, and they dared Kevin Love to shoot that quick shot.
U.S. still awaiting its first 3-pointer of the afternoon. Tunisia a chance to cut into this 7-point deficit with 3.5 minutes to go first half.
Well, they were only beaten by Brazil by 16. Again, a team first time they've ever qualified for the World Championships. This would be like a low major team making their first appearance in the NCAA tournament. In some ways, they're just happy to be here. In fact, Coach Talatli said this qualification is the greatest thing that's happened to Tunisian basketball.
And of course, like most countries outside of the U.S., soccer is the big sport in Tunisia. There is a growing basketball culture. They're really enjoying it in this run by this Tunisian team as Mohamed Hadidane hits the basket. Tunisia's only down 4.
Well, they've thrown caution to the wind, and you're not seeing high intensity as Westbrook slips again on the advertising.
And a dunk from Ben Ramdan, and it's a 2-point game.
Once again, Westbrook getting himself in trouble. No pass and a shot. Just watch now. You see the zone. It's a matchup zone. So they play man-to-man in their own area.
And Eric Gordon hits the first 3-pointer of the afternoon for Team USA.
Just absolutely love what Eric Gordon has done in this tournament.
Well, it appears Coach Krzyzewski, I think no matter what happened, even if Tunisia had gone on a 10-0 run, he's going to stick second team, second quarter, probably
no question.
First team, third quarter.
And you know, let's give him credit. Maybe they're saving everything for next week. Maybe they're not running any offense. They're not showing anything, but you know what? It doesn't translate to the defensive end, because effort is something that you can't turn on and turn off.
Marwan Kekrid has 15 points. Keshrid, rather, for Tunisia. And Eric Gordon will take it right to the rim for the basket.
You know, there's an old saying in coaching, your jump shot doesn't always travel well, but you can always pack your defense, you know, with you when you go. I mean, defense is something that's a constant. While the team defense has been pretty good for much of the tournament, the effort, you can tell today, and the intensity level is, you know, is not at an all-time high.
And another basket for Mukhtar Ghiaza. They're getting really easy baskets at the rim now, Fred.
Well, they run pretty good stuff, and if you allow them to get inside the three-point line and execute their stuff, then they become harder to guard. There's no defensive pressure on the backcourt right now, so there's no first post defender on the perimeter. Look out.
I mean, clearly, Coach K's not playing it as if it were a knockout game, but this would be the biggest upset in the history of FIBA World Championship basketball. A 2-point game, now a 4-point game off the Love basket with 30 seconds to go in the quarter.
Tell you, a big part of why this team runs their offense is Keshrid has handled the ball and the pressure fairly well. Give a little point guard credit.
And, of course, Group B, the United States group will get Group A, but the intrigue lies in Group C, Fran.
Absolutely. The winner of Greece-Russia, believe it or not, could likely see Spain in the 8th finals and Team USA in the quarterfinals. So there is some talk that we might have a little hanky-panky going on with regard to who wins that game.
Timeout. More on that in a moment. Next 3-pointers in the first half have them only down 4, and they have possession. And Kesherid tried to get off a shot to beat the shot clock. Way down and uncontested. The slam dunk for Russell Westbrook.
Well, good recognition by Team USA. Tunisia had to shoot it quick.
3 seconds. Kesherid's going to have to launch one from midcourt. And it won't go down. So a little closer than expected. Team USA 39-33 over Tunisia at half. When we return, Kevin Connors and Fran Fraschilla in the studio for a complete update on the FIBA World Championship. Quarter now underway, and as Coach Krzyzewski played in the first half, he used his first team for all 10 minutes of the first quarter. Substituted in and out his second team in the second quarter. You get the sense he'll probably do that in the second half as well.
Right now, Team USA switching all screens. That'll work against Tunisia. Good defense right there. They basically bottled up that offense by switching. I'm not sure you can give the quality teams a steady dose of switching because they understand teams like Greece and Spain how to take advantage of the mismatch.
Tunisia going with more of its second team stars, along with Marwan Kesherid, who played particularly well in the second quarter, this unit. Here's Durant off the turnaround.
See, that's the one-on-one move by Durant. That's actually one-on-two, and as I said earlier, that's not really his strength. He's a brilliant player, and he can get you points in one-on-one, but he just operates so much better during the course of the Thunder season coming off screens.
Cutting down the middle and putting it in, Makram Ben Ramdan.
Said early on that Tunisia would run their offense and actually make it useful for Team USA to get used to guarding continuity, but they have not guarded this continuity offense very well.
Kevin Durant, only the second 3-pointer for Team USA this afternoon.
Well, you know Kevin Durant's going to heat up, and you know he's going to put points on the board.
Fran, very important, keeping our eye on other games, including that Angola-Australia match. The loser will get Team USA in the round of 16. Right now, Angola down 10 at halftime. Keep everybody up to date on that. The U.S. will play on Monday in their first knockout game, and of course all the games of this tournament on ESPN3.com. Good development. U.S. continues to hit from 3. Chauncey Billups there.
Now, that was a good 3 o'clock practice jump shot. The shot you get every afternoon in practice, and Chauncey Billups in his career 39% from the NBA line.
Fran, I know the U.S. really sees this more of a warm-up. Is there any concern at all against a team like Tunisia, who is, like we said, ranked 43rd in FIBA, didn't win a game at this tournament so far, playing them this close?
Yes, yeah, because you lose confidence, because Tunisia's already won the game. Tunisia's, from their standpoint, they can always say we were in this ball game with Team USA at the half. And right now it's going to be about losing confidence if you're Team USA, if you don't beat this team badly and do it in the right way. By that I mean playing good, solid pressure defense, moving the ball on offense. Yeah, the outcome of this game is not in doubt, but as we said yesterday in the game with Iran, Team USA is playing against themselves right now. They're playing against their own expectations and own level of execution. And from that standpoint, they have not played well.
And Tunisia's second team, they're non-starters, the team, and they played mostly against the U.S. backups in the second quarter, but a very good start against the U.S.
Well, I don't know about you, but I didn't watch a lot of Tunisia during the season, you know, so I don't know who their second team.
You're not going to break down that
yeah.
first team and second
team? Yeah,
team
exactly.
I'll say this for them, their second team's been an A. Ben Ramdan with 8 points off the bench. 6-point American lead.
Team USA psychologically knows that this game really means nothing. But, you know, you just don't want to get into bad habits.
And the lack of execution is what really alarms you as a pass inside gets knocked away. Here they come again.
Well, a perfect example was that last possession. Really no forethought on where the ball should go and no movement on offense except off the dribble.
Bounce pass in the lane, once again open, but losing the handle is Giaza. 4 to shoot. Chasing the long rebound, Derrick Rose. Nice pass to Durant, who flushes.
Well, we know the USA is good in transition, but that's not going to be the issue next week.
14 for Durant this afternoon. USA 8-point lead. After this game, 3 days of practice. One will sense they'll be very difficult practices for the U.S. to get prepared for their round of 16 game against either Angola or Australia.
Mark, if I were Coach K, these are the things I would have emphasized over the last couple days. Games with Iran and Tunisia, basically scrimmages. Half-court execution, limit your turnovers. Pick-and-roll defense has not been a factor negatively because of the two teams they're playing, but in terms of taking care of the ball, there's a lot to be concerned about. You can have low energy, although you don't want low energy, but low energy has led to poor defense, and in this game, poor offensive execution as well.
And as we kind of peek ahead to either Angola or Australia, you know, Angola came up with a big overtime win over Germany. They're traditionally the best team on the African continent, and Australia's got some pretty good players as well.
Now, Australia's dangerous because they play a rugged physical style, and they're not going to be intimidated by Team USA. They're not nearly as good, obviously, and they don't have Andrew Bogut, but they traditionally play Team USA very competitively.
U.S. comes away with it. We'll see how they fare on the break. Durant will spot up for 3. As you pointed out in the first half, Tunisia gave Brazil a run, so this isn't the only team that has struggled against the Tunisian team. Like you said, we don't get to see a lot of film, but based on all the preparation for this game, this unit of Tunisians not necessarily the best.
No, but you can tell the way they move the ball. They're well coached.
And they do play a lot together as Derrick Rose converts on the other end.
You know, you can tell even in a loss that a team has an understanding of what they're trying to do offensively and defensively, and that would be a concern today.
Timeout in Istanbul. Derrick Rose and the U.S. in front. Istanbul this afternoon. They're trying to pick up a win in World Championship competition. Down 10 to the heavily favored U.S. squad, ranked second in FIBA, trying to finish a 5-0 preliminary run with the knockout round of 16 beginning Monday for the U.S. And a Tunisian turnover will give it back to the United States. You see the three-point shooting, 6 3-pointers for Tunisia, all in the first half. Part of the reason they are in front in this game.
Now they'll fall back into that matchup zone. Starts out 3-2, but it's very silly putty-like, very flexible.
Coach K with some lineup changes, bringing in some of the second unit. Russell Westbrook hitting there, Eric Gordon, Tyson Chandler on the floor as well.
It's a good opportunity for Westbrook and Gordon to be those Energizer bunnies we talked about. And if they could get it done on the defensive end, like Derrick Gordon right there, that would provide a necessary burst of energy that Team USA could use right here.
U.S. 16 fast break points off that Eric Gordon steal and score, and then a Tunisia turnover. Chance to widen the gap here for the U.S. Little floater from Rose won't go down.
Tunisia is providing for Team USA a good look at the type of set offense that they'll see from a lot of teams next week. And so from that standpoint, it's very good practice. They're like a scout team right now.
Nice lob for the rim, couldn't convert, but secondary Atef Mawa coming in and putting it in.
See, that's just effort right there. That's just really a lack of effort. There's the matchup zone.
Chandler puts it on the floor once and gets it blocked by Medjeri. Here's the Tunisian break.
Again, you see the effort, offensive rebounding.
Pass out, long three, won't go down for Keshrid, and loose ball foul underneath as Chandler got bumped. Let's take a look at Group C. Turkey at 4-0, but Greece and Russia have a big game coming up later today.
Absolutely, a lot of implications, and keep this in mind. The winner of that game, the winner, not the loser, is likely to play Spain in the 8th finals and possibly and likely Team USA in the quarterfinals. Both coaches, Jonas Kozlauskas and David Blatt, understand that tactically it would be nice to win, but strategically it actually might be better for them in the tournament to lose the game.
Tyson Chandler with the basket. Now that, of course, raises the question. The U.S. among the favorites coming in, but the way they're playing and some of the questions that'll be hanging over their head, sometimes do you...
Well, you can outthink yourself, no question. For Russia, I believe they'll keep trying to win because they've already had, I think, what's been a successful tournament for where they were expected to play. Greece, on the other hand, will be very coy about how they handle this game today. You know, do you sit guys? Do you not dress players and say they're hurt? These guys are very experienced coaches. They understand that the war is more important than the battle.
Ben Ramdan with the long jumper, beating the 24-second clock. Coming up on 2 minutes to go in the third. U.S. only 11. What amounts to a warm-up game for them as Eric Gordon misses on the three. U.S. clinching Group B. The win over Iran yesterday. They're going to get the loser of Angola and Australia. And right now, the Boomers, the Aussies, up 11 midway through the third quarter. Westbrook fouled as he went to the basket. Tefmawa will pick up that foul, his first. Well, picking up on the Greece and Russia matchup. We'll pick up on that as a second as we take a look at the foul here against Russell Westbrook.
Now, Russell Westbrook's strength certainly has been that overwhelming athleticism, providing a spark for Coach K off the bench. Really, it goes back, Mark, to the first couple days of training camp where he was brilliant. Struggled a little bit in terms of half-court decision-making, but very explosive.
Picking up again with the Greece-Russia, just the mindset. You spoke about this numerous times through the broadcast here in the preliminary round, but I always think it should be spoken again for the casual fan who doesn't pay attention to FIBA, European basketball specifically. It is a strategic thought line.
See, in the United States, everything is about always winning.
Right.
We have to win this game. But the European coaches, the international coaches, they think long term. We play checkers sometimes. They play chess with regard to how they treat a tournament like this.
Loose on the floor. Tunisia comes up with it. And Granger with the steal. Coming the other way, Curry. Look to dish out of bounds against Tunisia. U.S. will get it.
That's one of those examples where Steph Curry was almost unselfish to a fault. Should have went to the rim, laid it in, trying to make the extra pass.
He's still trying to feel his way with this team.
Well, they all are. You know, you can't speed up experience, and this is a very inexperienced FIBA group, and you can tell. They've had moments of brilliance and then moments where they really struggle, you know, with the game, and struggled, you know, playing together in terms of when to pass, when to shoot.
That one went halfway down for Westbrook. Love got a hand on it. Wide open three for Eric Gordon. All net.
Well, you got Gordon, Gay, and Love that you know have to be part of your core 8 next week.
Eric Gordon with 13 points in this preliminary round game. Love another rebound. He racks them up at a high rate. Final 45 seconds of the third quarter. The U.S. lead now up to 16. All the way down a blur was Westbrook.
Kevin Love didn't mind because he got another rebound.
And Steph Curry got another chance at a three. He's got 7 points. And here in the last few minutes of the third quarter, the U.S. Playing its best basketball of the game.
Well, they have. Tunisia's already won in terms of how they feel about the way they've competed so far. For Team USA, just get better over the next quarter and few seconds.
And last touch by Gordon, so Tunisia will keep it with 12 seconds to go.
Team USA will have 3 days now of practice. I'm sure they'll work to sharpen up some offensive and defensive schemes.
And Ramadan with the offensive putback. Yeah, the good news for Team USA, and we'll get to that in the fourth quarter, as the buzzer-beating shot doesn't go down for Westbrook. Team USA building its lead here at the Abdi Petchki Arena, 63-46 US, headed to the fourth. Expected on the court today, as well as the top lady seed Caroline Wozniacki. Getting set for the start of the fourth quarter in Istanbul with Fran Fraschilla. I'm Mark Kestisher. The U.S. a 63-46 lead over Tunisia. And Eric Gordon trying to pick up where he left off, and he does with another three-pointer. He's having a great game with 16 points.
He's just making horse shots right now.
You can see Angola trailing by 14 in the third quarter against Australia. The loser of that game will be the U.S. next foe. Gordon a steal, and the unsportsmanlike foul called on the breakaway against Tunisia.
He'll get the free throws, and Team USA will get the ball, and Eric Gordon will continue to provide the kind of spark he has for Coach K. This is a guy that many people felt that he had no chance of making this roster back in training camp. But when you look at what he's done in his career, top 5 high school player, leading first freshman in Indiana to ever average 20 points or more, 17 a game so far in his NBA career. I think it was mainly because we don't see him enough playing, quite frankly, for the LA Clippers. But when you look at his enormous talent, you have to think that a tournament like this is going to propel him into an atmosphere with other young stars in the league like Rose and Durant.
And then he's going to take that back to Los Angeles.
Sure.
Like Griffin will finally get his rookie season under his belt.
Yeah, Eric Gordon didn't just burst on the scene now. ESPN.com had him the top #2 high school player in the country in 2007. So he just didn't come out of some small town somewhere. He's been on the radar.
How about 21 points now for Eric Gordon, lighting it up here in the final preliminary, and a U.S. foul as Makram Ben Ramdam will get to the line. Gordon will pick up the foul, his second. Well, as you pointed out, the U.S. is going to need a big effort from its bench against the tougher teams, and the competition will start to stiffen as we get to Monday's round of 16 game and onward. And of course, it becomes a knockout tournament, one and done, a la NCAA tournament.
Well, Team USA is certainly still one of the favorites. There's no question. The question is, can they turn it on next week? And the dilemma is, in one and done basketball, one bad half against a reasonably quality opponent can send you home. But that's true of every team in this tournament now. Every one of these elite teams has flaws, and they have manifested themselves throughout this first week.
I think with the U.S. program in 2006 and that Redeem team in 2008, we kind of got back to that level, expecting to blow out every team, and it still needs to be reminded this is a young group of guys who many were on the select team coming in, with a couple of big leaders like Kevin Durant and his teammate Russell Westbrook, who throws one down there. That is still very much learning. Well,
the culture of Team USA is rock solid right now. From every level, players want to represent the country. That's a positive. As I said earlier, you can't speed up experience when you have an inexperienced group like this.
And I think, as any athlete will tell you, and you could corroborate this, Fran, is when the competition gets greater and the brights get lighter, there's a different kind of feeling. This is kind of a relaxed feeling here today, already knowing their place. And you don't want to lay any excuses at their feet, but it's certainly they're going to bring a better game.
But what's going to happen next week, Mark, on the other hand, is that at the Dome here in Istanbul, for the most part, unless they play Greece, Team USA is thought of as the guys in the black hats, because we have been a heavy favorite, coming into this tournament.
And that is going to be much different than the way things were in China in the Olympics and in Japan in the World Championships, where those countries really revere the NBA players. And in Europe, or in Istanbul, where you're in Europe and Asia basically at the same time, you're going to have those crowds against you. 7:37 to go in regulation in the final preliminary timeout at Abdi Petchki Arena. and Slovenia playing tennis and golf, and of course in basketball here in Group B, the U.S. trying to finish off a 5-0 preliminary stage. Eric Gordon's been the story this afternoon. U.S. was just 1 of 10 from three-point land in the first half. As Love gets the putback in, they have since hit 7 of 11 from three-point land, many of them from Eric Gordon, who has 21 points.
Saw the beauty of Kevin Love's game, cleaning up the garbage. Doesn't have to. Perfect example of a guy that does not have to play above the rim. Look at Gordon's pressure defense.
That's another one at midcourt steal. A nice dish and a block by Radwan Slaman.
That was blocked by my high school chemistry teacher right there. Slaman looking like James Taylor.
It's a gold medal AU if he's your chemistry professor.
Well,
I couldn't come up with anything better.
Well, Tunisia's had pretty good team chemistry today. They've scrapped here.
Long three won't go down for the U.S. and Tunisia will bring it back the other way. This score not indicative of how close Tunisia played it in the first half. They had it as close as 2 points with about a minute and a half to go in the first half. Slaman will launch, and that's a three-pointer for the 30-year-old veteran of this Tunisia national team.
Very confident player. One of the few players that has left the country to play professionally. Again, Tunisia only has a semi-professional basketball league.
And a loose ball foul on Kevin Love. Not a lot of fouls against the U.S. called today. For Love, that is his first.
You see that? Watch the tango inside. Love and Slaman. That's okay. That's what we call an error of commission, as opposed to an error of omission. Kevin Love giving you the dirty work.
There you see a final under our score. Spain has defeated Canada 89-67. Looks like they're going to be the 3 seed out of Group D. They lost that game to France earlier in the week, and Lithuania unbeaten and already D2. So Spain as the 3 seed in the D means they could face the U.S. in the quarterfinals. They'll be in that quarter of the FIBA championship bracket, which is, you thought maybe a championship game as it was in the Olympics.
Exactly.
Slaman at the line for 2. There's a lot of permutations still to figure out. It's easy for the U.S. knowing loser of Angola, Australia, and the Aussies now have opened up a 22-point lead late in the third quarter. So it's looking like U.S. Angola in that round of 16 Monday.
And Angola, a more athletic team than a team like Tunisia or Iran. Very feisty. It actually would be a good opening round game for Team USA to get used to a team that plays with great passion. There's another behind-the-back pass by Stephen Curry. And I just, for the life of me, a guy that goes to Davidson who has probably 1,500 on his SAT, just put that play in your back pocket. Save it for the Warriors.
Where we know there's maybe twice as many possessions.
Yeah, Steph is such a good player for his age.
Well, it's as Andre Iguodala was saying, sometimes we're too cool. And that would probably rank in that category as a careless turnover.
And there's a place for the behind the back, but not in traffic. You know, a lot of times it's the easy play to make on a 2-on-1 break, but not in traffic.
And a whistle against Curry. 5:06 to go in the fourth quarter. Curry picking up his second foul.
Again, a young player, loads of talent. Had such a great rookie season for the Golden State Warriors. About 18 points a game, 6 assists. NBA All-Rookie first team.
Slaman nearly lost the handle. Now finds the shot.
Oh yeah,
and knocks it down.
Slaman's going to jack it. There's no doubt about it.
78-54 U.S. and check out beneath us. How about the Ivory Coast?
Now I think this means China
has a chance
to go to the tournament.
Yep,
that's an amazing score.
Ivory Coast was 0-4 coming into today's game. Puerto Rico almost beat Turkey yesterday.
Well, Ivory Coast had to beat Puerto Rico by more than 13. China was in that window where China may advance. That would be amazing. And only because China has one win over the Ivory Coast.
Puerto Rico, China, and Ivory Coast now all with one victory. And so, yes, China may still have a shot to
Wow.
So a lot of intrigue still to come in this final day of preliminary action.
China plays Turkey today without Yi Jianlian, but I don't think it matters. Turkey has had such a great tournament. Of course, they've been on their home court, Mark, essentially in Ankara, and they'll come to Istanbul next week. But Carlos Delfino has been outstanding for Argentina, and Ersan Ilyasova has been brilliant for Turkey. Two of John Hammond and Scott Skiles' Milwaukee Bucks guys.
And Russell Westbrook with the great athletic slam dunk. He's got 12 points.
Well, I think Team USA would win the slam dunk contest if they had one here in Istanbul. Russell Westbrook again providing a little bit of excitement.
Out of the corner, three-pointer won't go in for Difala. We spoke of Ersan Ilyasova having a big series for Turkey. Also Heydou Turkoglu on that club, and all the fans of the nation of Turkey behind them.
And actually Turkoglu has struggled, you know, with his outside shooting, but of course his experience, veteran. Turkey a team. In fact, Chicago Bulls have Omer Asik joining them as a rookie this year. He's a 7-foot young guy who's playing well for Turkey. It's going to be hard for him to crack that 9-man rotation of Tom Thibodeau's, but he's a good young player. He's going to have to beat out Noah and Carlos Boozer. He'll have to wait his turn, but Omer Asik, shot blocker, energy guy. Got to make his free throws, however.
Fran coming up on 3 minutes to go in the final preliminary, and Eric Gordon, a rare miss from him in the second half. One-time two-point game late in the first half. U.S. in a walkover as expected. Took a little longer than expected.
Well, Tunisia ran good stuff. They were well coached. They took care of the ball better than I thought they would in terms of being able to execute their offense. That's a credit to them. Mark, next week, man, if you are a basketball fan, get ESPN 3. It'll satisfy your hoop junkie.
At the Abdi Pekci Arena in Istanbul, site of the knockout round. It'll be the Olympic Stadium beginning on Monday for Team USA against the loser of Angola and Australia. Right now Angola down 20. There's Russell Westbrook. The power game and the quickness through the lane for the U.S. with numerous dunks here in the second half, and he'll get some more action from Coach K. You see the Angola game, that's key. And the Ivory Coast, CIV.
Côte d'Ivoire.
I was leaving it for you.
Côte d'Ivoire, also known as the Ivory Coast. I didn't mean to jump in there. I know you wanted to say that.
I've been practicing all week, but I could wait. They have a chance. That's their only win of the preliminaries, and they may still have a chance. In fact, they do have a chance, and so does China.
You know, that actually, I'm anxious. I've texted out to Anchor to see what that does.
Yeah, as Danny Granger hits, because it's not just a simple head-to-head. If there's a three-way tie, there are FIBA formulas that come into play.
Exactly right.
Here. The goal average.
Kind of a combination of the amount of points you score, divided by
the amount you give up.
Yep. Well, 24 teams in this tournament, unlike the Olympics, which only has 12. And for teams like Tunisia, Côte d'Ivoire, you know, yesterday we saw Iran. Great for basketball. This is going to turn out now. It's going to take 50 years for this to be at the level of the World Cup in soccer. There's no question about it. But this is going to become, I really believe, a really big deal internationally. And it has, from, you know, obviously. But I think in the United States, this will take on even a more important meaning.
Goaltend against Medjugorje, the center.
Primarily because of all the NBA players.
Yes. Well, that brings into question here is that I'm going to say U.S. specifically, because other countries seem to do a better job at it, though, with all the NBA players now coming over. Like,
it's hard.
Can you play biannually every 2 years with the length of your NBA commitment?
It's hard because you're asking a guy, you know, and Mark Cuban of the Mavericks has a problem with his players playing. And I understand that, but you know what? You're going to play in the offseason anyway. You're in a structured environment with your national team. The NBA and FIBA are talking about lessening training camps so that national teams aren't together for 6 weeks or 2 months. That would help.
Steph Curry knocks down a 3 here in the final 120. He's got 13 off the bench.
But you know, Mark, when you play like Lamar Odom, hey, good for him. You play 100 games and then you come out here in the summertime. That takes its toll on your body. Ginobili, Scola, all these guys that play internationally, it does take its toll.
I don't think the crowd was too thrilled with a U.S. three-pointer taken here with such a big lead, but hey, Steph's got to work on part of his game, and I don't think Russell Westbrook needs to work on that part of his game.
He's got that down. Ian Iguodala would be at the top of, you know, maybe he'll get an invite to the NBA dunk contest this year based on his performance here today.
Well, you mentioned World Cup for soccer. There are some rumblings they might change the name of this tournament to the World Cup, FIBA World Cup. So we'll see for future.
Now, there's only one World Cup, and that's what we saw for a month in June and July.
Fabulous tournament. And South Africa is going to, or South America, the next couple of years. You know
what I'm glad about?
Yes.
FIBA outlawed
the vuvuzelas.
Vuvuzelas. That was good.
The UEFA just did similarly.
That's right.
Soccer.
Yeah.
I wasn't in South Africa, but some of our ESPN colleagues told us it was very loud.
I wasn't there either, but I heard them.
Yes.
When we watched them.
And that was filtered.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that was filtered out. Razik getting some time here at the end for Coach Talatli and Tunisia. Going to have an 0-5 tournament.
Now what you do if you're Team USA as you prepare for Angola in the 3-day practices, you also prepare for the kind of offensive schemes you'll see from teams that you have to evaluate. You're going to see in the next first couple rounds, and I think pick and roll defensive schemes particularly will be a point of emphasis in these 3 days of practice Team USA will have until we see them again on Monday.
Of course, it's hard to tell, you know, from game to game with competition, but only 10 turnovers today. That's a step in a positive direction. They had a couple early, but really sealed that off late. And the U.S. going to finish 5-0 in preliminary round action. 92-57, the Tunisians and the Americans. Coach K and Adel Talatli sharing a hand. We'll have some final thoughts from Fran Fraschilla as the USA beats Tunisia 92-57, moving to the round of 16 in Istanbul. A 92-57 win over Tunisia. So at 5-0, here are the Group B standings updated. They are the #1 team in Group A. Croatia and Brazil still to decide who will be 3 and 4. But the U.S. as the #1 seed in Group B will take on the #4 seed in Group A.
Well, they did what they had to do. They won all 5 games. Wasn't always pretty. And Coach K will clean some things up, absolutely, during practice this weekend. But they did what they needed to do, better than losing a game.
So here's the scenario for the U.S. as they move into the knockout round. They'll get the loser of Angola and Australia on Monday. And right now it's a 22-point Australia lead. They're under 5 minutes to go in the fourth.
Australia, very feisty, scrappy group, as is Angola. It'll be a good test for Team USA on Monday. Angola will be very physical and very athletic. Be a good warm-up game for them. They should advance, obviously.
Fran's star this afternoon was Eric Gordon coming off the bench with 21 big points.
Well, we've seen him do this before in both the exhibition tour and also earlier in this preliminary round. Eric Gordon has proven to be a dead-eye shooter from that international line. Look at that stroke. But he also has the strength and power to get to the rim against physical players in FIBA play. And Coach K's got to be happy with Eric Gordon's performance.
Well, he goes 7 for 10, had a number of big steals, 4 of 7 from three-point land, 21 points. USA, a 92-57 winner over Tunisia. Our next USA basketball game on Monday on the ESPN family of networks when the U.S. plays in the round of 16. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Fran Fraschilla and our entire crew, I'm Mark Kestecher. Now let's head to the